General Hospital spoilers for Monday, April 20th. Predict. In my opinion, the storyline for the upcoming episodes, particularly focusing on the events surrounding April 20th, relies heavily on the themes of hidden agendas, reluctant alliances, and the inescapable shadows of past transgressions. By analysing the actions and implied psychology of the characters, we can decode the direction of the script. The following analysis will break down these intersecting storylines purely from a structural and character-driven perspective. The narrative focuses on a deeply complex and increasingly fractured family dynamic, primarily observed through the lens of Christina's confusion. The storyline shows that Christina is caught completely off guard following a tense conversation with Michael regarding Willow's mounting issues. Christina is effectively being used by the writers as an audience surrogate in this scenario. She is largely kept in the dark about the severity of Michael's suspicions. The episode highlights Michael's growing paranoia, or perhaps his newfound clarity. Christina does not understand the basis for Michael's shocking hypothesis. The idea that Willow could be responsible for shooting Drew and subsequently causing his debilitating stroke. From a scriptwriting perspective, keeping Michael's evidence hidden from Christina builds suspense. Michael is not updating her with the granular details, which creates a narrative void. This development suggests that Michael is operating on a parallel, secretive track. It is highly probable that Michael and Kai have engaged in covert discussions, pooling their resources and suspicions off-screen or behind closed doors. In my opinion, Michael's character arc is shifting from a supportive partner to an investigative adversary. If this trajectory continues, Michael and Kai's secret alliance seems geared toward a severe endgame. This may lead to Michael and Kai constructing an elaborate trap designed to corner Willow. This indicates that they are not merely seeking a confession, but are actively working to build an airtight case to ensure she faces legal consequences, potentially sending her to prison for these severe alleged crimes. I feel that the writers are systematically stripping away Willow's protective shields, setting her up for a monumental fall. Moving from family betrayal to corporate and criminal espionage, the narrative focuses on a high-stakes game of chess between Valentine, Nina, and their mutual antagonist, Brennan. Valentine is historically known for his calculated ruthlessness, but here, the character is portrayed as someone willing to take a massive, calculated risk. Valentine has actively chosen to collaborate with Nina despite having intercepted rumors or intelligence suggesting that Nina was plotting to betray him by revealing his location to Brennan. This situation reflects a fascinating psychological dynamic. Valentine does not simply retaliate. Instead, he confronts Nina to demand confirmation. He wants to look her in the eye and assess her truthfulness. Nina's defense mechanism is entirely logical within the framework of the script. The storyline shows that she argues her innocence through circumstantial evidence. She points out that if she had truly betrayed him to Brennan, Valentine would never have had the opportunity to safely arrive at her home to interrogate her. I think this piece of dialogue is a brilliant structural tool by the writers to force a stalemate between two highly paranoid characters. Valentine is keenly aware that Nina is not acting from a place of pure malice toward him, but rather from a place of intense vulnerability. This suggests that Valentine recognizes Brennan has discovered Nina's weaknesses and is actively cornering her. Consequently, Valentine leverages this shared victimization to forge a stronger bond. He wants Nina to join forces with him to dismantle Brennan's operation entirely. The storyline appears to be setting up a formidable, expanding syndicate led by Valentine. As his alliance grows in power and influence, this development could influence a massive shift in the Port Charles power vacuum, pointing toward a highly successful, organized takedown of Brennan in the near future. However, I could be wrong, and this alliance could shatter under pressure. The structure of the General Hospital narrative frequently relies on the sudden unearthing of buried secrets, and the plotline involving Sidwell, Ezra, Laura, and Sunny is a textbook example of this trope. Sidwell is positioned within the script as a deeply malevolent and manipulative force. The episode highlights how Sidwell previously weaponized fear to force Ezra into a corner. Specifically, the script reveals that Sidwell coerced Ezra into taking photographic evidence of a highly incriminating moment, Laura and Sunny standing over Dalton's lifeless body, which was concealed in the trunk of Laura's car. This situation reflects the inescapable nature of past trauma for legacy characters like Laura and Sunny. Ezra burdened by the immense guilt of his complicity, makes a pivotal character decision to confess everything to Laura. The character is portrayed as desperate for absolution. He comes to Laura hoping for forgiveness, fully aware of the danger he is placing himself in by revealing his role in Sidwell's blackmail scheme. Laura's reaction is a testament to her character's long-established pragmatism. Instead of reacting with pure fury, she appears to grant Ezra the forgiveness he seeks. But I feel this is not merely an act of kindness, it is a strategic maneuver. This indicates that Laura recognizes Ezra's value as a double agent or a strategic asset. By forgiving him, she secures his loyalty. This may lead to Laura and Ezra actively conspiring to formulate a new, intricate counterplot to neutralize Sidwell once and for all. In my opinion, the writers are aligning Laura's moral authority with Sonny's underworld connections, using Ezra as the linchpin to finally destroy Sidwell. The pacing of the narrative accelerates significantly when examining the friction between Carly, Lucas, and Britt. The storyline shows that Carly is experiencing a profound loss of control. Carly is fundamentally a fixer and a protector, but in this arc, she finds herself entirely unable to stop Lucas from proceeding with a highly dangerous agenda. The best Carly can manage within her current narrative constraints is to act as a harbinger of doom, desperately warning Lucas about the catastrophic risks associated with his actions. However, Lucas remains entirely unyielding. The character is portrayed as relentlessly stubborn, driven by a motivation that blinds him to Carly's logical warnings. He is committed to seeing his plan through, regardless of the collateral damage. This reflects a deep-seated internal conflict within Lucas, one that pushes him to rebel against Carly's overbearing, albeit well-intentioned, nature. Adding fuel to this volatile fire is the involvement of Britt. This development suggests that Britt will not merely be an innocent bystander. She will be inexorably dragged into the impending chaos. Alternatively, looking at the structural hints of the script, I think it is highly probable that Britt is actually the catalyst for this entire disaster. The storyline appears to be setting up a scenario where Britt is the original architect of the plan that Lucas is currently executing. If Britt is the mastermind, this development could influence a massive fallout between her, Carly, and Lucas when the plan inevitably spirals out of control. This is just my interpretation of the chaotic energy Britt historically brings to the script. Nostalgia is a powerful tool in serial storytelling, and the writers are utilizing it heavily with the sudden re-emergence of Ethan. The episode highlights Ethan's unannounced return to Port Charles, which acts as a disruptive narrative catalyst for several established characters. Ethan's first significant interaction is with Lulu, who is genuinely blindsided by his arrival. The storyline shows that Lulu immediately transitions into an investigative mindset, demanding to know the true purpose behind his unexpected homecoming. However, Ethan relies on his trademark evasion. He flatly refuses to disclose his underlying motives. This situation reflects Ethan's classic character archetype, the charming rogue who operates on a need-to-know basis, perpetually shrouded in mystery. Following his cryptic encounter with Lulu, Ethan proceeds to the Quartermain mansion to seek out Tracy. The narrative focuses on the heavy emotional toll this meeting takes. Tracy is equally stunned by Ethan's sudden manifestation in her living room. This development suggests that Ethan's physical presence, his mannerisms, and his very existence serve as a painful, inescapable reminder of the late Luke Spencer. In my opinion, the script uses Ethan not just as an active plot driver, but as a symbolic ghost. His interactions force characters like Lulu and Tracy to confront their unresolved grief regarding Luke. I feel that Ethan is harboring a massive secret that will eventually upend the Quartermain family dynamics, but for now, the writers are content to let the emotional weight of his return simmer. Finally, we must analyze the rapidly deteriorating situation between Jacinda and Willow, which represents a fascinating shift in interpersonal power dynamics. The storyline shows that a reckless and highly confrontational encounter takes place between the two women. Willow, a character often associated with moral high ground, is shown leaning heavily into judgment and prejudice. The character is portrayed as being deeply fixated on Jacinda's past. Willow's internal biases manifest outwardly in a dramatic fashion. This indicates a breaking point in Willow's psychological state. likely exacerbated by the pressure she is facing from Michael and Kai, as analysed in Part 1. During this confrontation, Willow likely loses her composure, shouting and explicitly stating her revulsion. She makes it clear that she refuses to associate with someone possessing what she deems a dirty or compromised history. This situation reflects a sense of elitism or aggressive defensiveness that the writers are newly injecting into Willow's persona. To exert control, Willow utilizes her family connections, threatening to mandate that her mother, Nina, terminate Jacinda's employment immediately. This development suggests that Willow is weaponizing her privilege to silence or remove a perceived threat. Jacinda's reaction is exactly what the narrative requires to ignite a long-term feud, pure, unadulterated anger. Jacinda refuses to be intimidated or shamed for her history. This may lead to a prolonged and vicious character war. By pushing Jacinda into a corner and threatening her livelihood, Willow has successfully minted a brand new, highly motivated enemy. I think Jacinda will not take this threat lightly and will begin actively plotting to dismantle Willow's life from the inside out. To synthesize these various narrative threads, it is evident that the writers of General Hospital are meticulously building an environment where every character is operating on borrowed time. From Michael's secret investigation into Willow's alleged crimes, to Valentine and Nina's desperate alliance against Brennan, the script is heavy with tension. Laura's manipulation of Ezra's guilt, Carly's inability to control Lucas, Ethan's mysterious return, and the sudden, vicious feud between Jacinda and Willow all point toward a season of severe consequences. The storyline appears to be setting up a massive convergence of these plots, where secrets will inevitably detonate, destroying established relationships and forging dark new alliances. This development could influence the very fabric of Port Charles for years to come. However, as a viewer and an analyst, I must reiterate my boundaries regarding these predictions. I think the structural evidence strongly supports my psychological assessments of the characters and their motives, but I could be wrong. Soap opera narratives are inherently fluid, designed to pivot and subvert expectations at a moment's notice. This is just my interpretation of the character arcs, dialogue clues, and narrative pacing provided in the current script outlines. We must watch the episodes unfold to see how these fascinating, flawed individuals navigate the traps they have set for themselves and each other.